Hello! Sorry, didn't have my mic on. Hello, it's great to see you here, Thrifty, after all this time. No worries. Great to have you here, though. You know, even just lurking. It's great to have you. I'm just doing a little bit of promoting on Discord, and we'll get started in just a minute. I'm just telling people. Just telling people that we're starting. Da-dum, dum, dum, da-dum, dum, dum, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, that ought to do it. Let's go! The wintry night of my discontent. The snow lay about, my neighbour did cometh in the evening, bearing a gift of tea. But marry, bitter was his drink, when he left I did fall prostrate on my table. 'Twas the tea alone did pass my lips that late hour, not else. Hold on. I don't remember what voice I gave Metterman. Or Meter Man. Or is it Meter Man? I don't know. Oh, I didn't record anything for him. I just did it last week and I forgot to record. Okay. I was outside this bloke's window, in the freezing cold all night, keeping an eye on his room. I was outside this bloke's window in the freezing cold all night, keeping an eye on his room. No one else visited his room but that short little round back eastern fella. Wait, what did you say? You were keeping an eye on Mr. Shamsphere's room all night? That's right. Of course, the bloke's window is all blocked up, ain't it? Ah, there's a little gap in the bricks so you could see into the room. So I spent the night trying to keep my teeth from chattering as I peered in through that. The question is, sir, why? Ah, well now, that's because he's on my list. What a piece of work is a man! Wherefore wouldst thou not stare in wonderment? What are you talking about? This buzzing busybody hath not part in this play. I pray thee, pay him no heed. Make no more ado about his tedious words. What do you say about me? Calm yourself. This court is concerned with what happened on the night in question. Nothing more. Indeed, that is so. And as the testimony we have just heard clearly reveals, there was no one other than the accused present at the time who could have carried out this crime. Well, I believe this may be the final testimony of the trial. Now, counsel, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination. Yes, my lord. Sorry. Oh. I'm gonna save because we don't have a whole lot of health left.
Hold it!
To be clear, by neighbor, you are referring to the defendant, Mr. Natsume? Oh, indeed, sire. Perchance thou wouldst that I call him the man from upstairs. Sorry, I don't know what... The man from upstairs! There we go, that's more in line. And at what time did the mustachioed Nipponese visit you in your room? Our meeting was promised for the hour of 9, and lo did he come to tender a gift of fragrant tea. Details which are in accordance with the defendant's own testimony, yes. And we were embroiled in such a literary debate as history hath not seen before. By which I presume he means that discussion about who was the stronger, Romeo or Juliet. I, Shakespeare, did play the part of young Romeo, whilst my neighbour played the fair Juliet. Each of us dressed as would our characters be, to bring weight upon our merry experiment. I dare not imagine the scene. Frailty, thy name is woman. Canst thou imagine how dismayed I was? Yes, I had heard of the eastern art of jujitsu, but ne'er did I dream 'twould be a skill practiced by the comely maiden. Juliet beat Romeo up? This is not helping our case. I believe the court has heard enough about your earth-shattering literary debate. Perhaps you could reiterate your statement about the tea that the accused brought to your room. My liege, I am thy servant. Gladly I will do thy bidding.
Hold it!
Let me stop you there. Mr. Natsume left your room at 11 o'clock, but it wasn't until after 2 that the poison made you collapse. That amounts to more than 3 hours of missing time. What the hell is that? If the defendant had really put the poison into your tea, that 3-hour window of time is something you're going to have to explain. Gladly, 'tis an easy task. What? I did drink of the tea not while my guest did tarry, but after he took leave of me. Faith was stone cold, but at 1 hour post midnight, verily were my lips parched.
Objection!
That doesn't sound normal. Nay, 'tis quite ordinary, sire. After all, thou wouldst recall a fiery debate. Amidst such argument, there'd be no time for fiery tea. Romeo and Juliet again. And who was stronger? Mr. Shakespeare, in summary, allow me to confirm. Did you not come here with the intention of naming your attacker? But of course, my liege. 'Twas the stooped lover of words did attempt to shuffle me off this mortal coil. We all know what that means.
Hold it!
So, you didn't have any kind of evening meal? Dinner? Supper? Ha! Fie on luxury! Fie on gluttony! To eat thrice daily is but a waste of time. Sorry? I would that my belly were full no more oft than the sun doth rise. Well, most heroic eating habits, I must say. Night and day do I fill my hours with learned study of the great bard and playwright. Hence is it that there doth not be in my chamber be more than the costumes of, not in my chamber be than the costumes of mine art. That would appear to be the case, as even a rodent was found starved to death in your room. Now I think of it, it's not just food that was conspicuously missing from that room, is it?
I don't recall seeing a single play or script anywhere.
For I have devoured them all.
You've eaten them?
Every word be within my skull. Didst thou imagine otherwise?
Right, that wasn't misleading at all. Now, could you turn around, do you think?
Which brings us to the conclusion that the only way the poison could have passed the victim's lips is in the tea. I suppose when you're freezing cold all night, keeping an eye on his room.
Hold it! But the windows of that house have all been filled in. A historical artifact of the now defunct window tax.
Yeah, you're right there. All bricked up horribly. But as it happens, there's a little pot of brickwork at the bottom corner that's been opened up. I was looking in through that gap.
Yes, there were a few bricks loose, weren't there? And for some strange reason, a couple of bars of soap lined up on the ledge outside as well.
I like going around poking my chin in other people's business, especially on freezing cold nights. But them's my orders, so that's what I'll keep doing, as long as there's breath in my body.
What's with all the theatricals today?
Out of interest, Miss Meterman, after the accused had left and returned to his old lodgings, did you see the victim leave the room at all? Oh, did you see the victim leave the room at all? No, he never left. He was in that room the whole time, as far as I'm concerned. And we can therefore discount the possibility of suicide.
How can you be sure of that?
The police carried out a thorough investigation of the scene and found no receptacle for the poison. And since we know the victim didn't leave his room, and hence didn't dispose of the poison's container himself, it's clear that this was no attempted suicide. Only the culprit could have removed the receptacle.
Ah, yes. Luckily explained, Counsel. Thank you. It really was. You can't argue with the logic. Oh, is that right? Watch me try.
No one else knows.
Hold it! You say a short, little, round-backed Eastern fella. So you can't be sure it was the defendant, then?
Objection! How many other short, little, round-backed Nipponese with a mustache do you think there are in London? Well, of course, it's only a narrow gap, but it was quite dark, so I didn't notice the mustache. But he showed up at around 9, so I'm pretty sure of myself.
And when the person you saw arrived, did he and Mr. Shakespeare drink tea together?
Nah, sorry. I couldn't say.
Why not?
Because I couldn't see into the room all that well, could I? But what I did see was a silhouette of that little round-backed fella wearing a pretty dress. Then, the pair of them started some kind of wrestling match. I tell you, I didn't know what to make of it.
I suppose that was the Romeo and Juliet championship battle getting underway.
Mr. Mitterman, allow me to confirm one final time. Apart from the accused, can you state with certainty that no one else visited the victim on that night in question? No question. Gasman's honor.
Who's saying hold it?
My lord.
Goodness me, yes, Mr. Foreman.
I've kept my mouth shut and listened up to now, but this has gone on long enough. Are you all with me?
Yes!
Only to understand that you ladies and gentlemen of the jury are in agreement with one another. That you have reached a unanimous decision. Too right we have.
Sorry, too right we have.
Are you all with me?
Yes! Wait, no! The defense is in the middle of a cross-examination.
To be honest, I was holding out a bit of hope for you, young man. To be honest, I was holding out a bit of hope for you, young man. Especially after you identified those few hours that followed the accused leaving the victim's room.
Yes, the 3 missing hours, as you put it.
But in the end, what difference do they make? None, as far as I could see.
And since that's now apparent, there's really no reason to delay our decision any longer.
Like I was saying before, if I don't take 5 bob home with me tonight, the missus will blow her top.
What's that? Sorry, I didn't quite catch what you said. Very well, let the court be appraised of your decisions. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your leanings as to the defendant's culpability.
Guilty!
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Ah.
Come on. There we go. Finally. Sorry, sometimes this thing gets harder to open up. For some reason. All of you? Well, it would appear that the jury is indeed unanimous.
So, this time at least, it seems justice will be done. All's well that ends well, as they say. This calls for a toast, I feel. To the guilty being punished. Ah!
Get up, Mr. Naruto. See, get up, Mr. Naruto, please. The trial isn't over yet. What do you mean, Mr. Sato? The summation examination. What about the information I found in this Encyclopedia of British Law I have? That obscure right that belongs to the defense in these situations. Remember? A summation examination. Yes, that's right. We don't have a jury in Japanese courts, of course. But here in a British court of law, if we can reverse the decisions of a majority of the jurors, we can force the trial to continue. This trial can end now. Whatever it takes, I just can't let that happen. The defense moves to invoke its right to a summation examination, my lord.
Why am I not surprised at my learned Nipponese friend's inability to admit defeat? You choose to cling desperately to some archaic rule you barely comprehend instead of accepting the truth.
Certainly no other defense counselor in recent times has exercised their right to a summation examination.
Because they all know that once the jury's mind is set, it cannot be altered.
Nevertheless, the right remains and must be upheld. The defense counsel's request is granted. This court will proceed with a summation examination as outlined in the Encyclopedia of British Law.
Thank you, my lord.
Are you and your fellows prepared, Mr. Foreman?
Believe me, my lord, we know all about this young lad's tenacity, and we're ready for it.
Very well. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby call upon each of you to state the grounds upon which you find the defendant guilty of the crime for which he stands accused.
The victim may not be well off, but he's a noble man and straight up. There's no reason to doubt the man.
Well, I do declare the good gentleman has no reason to lie. In fact, I think he's rather splendid. Just look at the accused by comparison. He's Japanese, stoops all the while, and has a mustache. Very fishy. There's no evidence to suggest the gangling actor is a fraudsman. For now, at least.
I really don't care, like. I just need this trial to end quickly.
3 hours of missing time is nothing when you reach my age, you know. Nothing at all. I knew it. Every single one of them seems completely convinced. It would seem that all the jurors have come to the conclusion that Mr. Shakespeare is a fine, upstanding, and honest citizen. If you ask me, they've all been bewitched by his strange theatrical movements. And sadly, nothing Mr. Natsume said appears to have registered at all. Well, here goes. Let's not forget. I've pleaded with the jury on Saseki-san's behalf before, and it worked. So you never know. Before we begin, it might be an idea for me to remind you exactly how a summation examination works, Mr. Naruto. Oh. Well, you're still very new to British law, after all. That's true, I suppose. And Saseki-san's fate is entirely in my hands now, too. There's always a chance I might have forgotten some crucial detail. Perhaps I should hear Susato-san out. I wonder, should I let her talk me through it again or not bother? No need. Thank you for the kind offer, Miss Susato, but I've been through plenty of these summation examinations already now. I think it's important that we don't delay the start any longer than necessary. Of course, I understand. I'm quite sure you're right. If you're confused by anything at any point, you could turn to me for advice whenever you like. I'll be here for you. The key to this is really listening carefully to each juror's statement. Finding two things that are contradictory and pitting the corresponding jurors against each other. Without further ado, please, counsel, proceed with the summation examination. Yes, my lord. Well, there are plenty of people in London who seem noble but poor. Couldn't some of them also be liars? I've no doubt about it. Like that shaky client of yours, for example. Absolutely not. Mr. Natsume is no liar. Look, the point is, the only thing that passed the victim's lips that night was the Japanese man's tea. When you take the gasman's testimony into account as well, the truth couldn't be any clearer. Ah, well, that's alarmingly logical. But let me be frank here. I'm a gentleman with a gentleman's values. If it turns out that the old Shakespearean chum is a rotten liar after all, I'd gladly change my decision about the defendant. And I'm sure my fellow gentlemen on the jury would do the same. Isn't that right? Well, yes, perhaps. Though I don't see it happening. What's that? Elderly gentleman here, you know. We'll have to speak up. Look, I really don't care about all this nonsense. I just need this trial to be over. How many gentlemen do we actually have on the jury, then? Alright, sir. I may hold you to that. Don't forget what you said. Alright, if you can show me the victim's a liar, I'll reconsider my position. Hold it! Will you stand by that statement? What do you take me for? I'm a gentleman, sir. A man of my word. So let me be perfectly clear about this. If it turns out the old Shakespearean chum is a rotten liar after all, I'd gladly change my decision about the defendant. And I'm sure my fellow... Are you saying you believe the man to be trustworthy because he's rather splendid? No, that's not what I said. The point is, the man is the victim here. What reason would he have to lie? And yes, he is rather splendid. So you say, yet again. Meanwhile, The man who stands accused behaves so suspiciously, it's exhausting to look at him. I'm afraid he's not splendid at all.
Splendid logic there, madam. Thank you so much.
Hold it!
No. Not one of those things is a reason to find the man guilty.
But he is fishy. There's no point dancing around the fact. He's Japanese, he has a mustache, and he stoops. You see, you arrive at the conclusion in just 3 steps. 3 steps, like a waltz, in fact. You know, the more I think about it, the more this trial seems like a dance.
You seem to be several steps ahead of yourself, though, and you're on the wrong foot. No, there's nothing but circumstantial evidence here. There's no actual proof of the defendant's guilt.
But the victim's version of events is backed up by what the big chin man next to him says, isn't it? 1, he saw the Japanese man there. 2, he saw no one else. And 3, he saw the Japanese man there. Oh, that's another 3 steps. Oh, this really does seem more and more like a waltz, doesn't it?
Right, and the prosecution will waltz its way to victory if I let you speak much more.
There's no evidence to suggest the gangling actor is a fraudsman. For now, at least.
Hold it!
A fraudsman? What do you mean by that, madam?
It really is a most tiresome problem for the company. Most irritating.
There we go.
We can be absolutely certain that a customer is stealing from us, but without hard evidence. We can't even threaten to take action for fear of being sued.
I'm sorry, you've lost me a little there. Who are you?
I'm the wife of Augustus Altamont, owner of the Ultimate Gas Company.
Good gracious! Altamont Gas, you say?
Gas is the future of energy in this country and around the globe, but proper handling is essential. As I'm sure our employee from the East End branch office would be the first to agree.
Absolutely, Lady Quinby. Gotta be used properly. Altamont Gas is the best in the world, of course.
I think we may have solved the mystery of the bow from earlier, Miss Nardo.
Right, he bowed in deference to his employer's wife, did he?
So, would I be right in assuming that the reason Mr. Manaman was watching what Mr. Shamster was up to in his room... I'm afraid that there's no end to the lengths the population of the East End will go to in order to steal our gas. So I really have no choice when the company identifies somebody as a possible fraudsman, but to dispatch a worker to watch the suspect day and night. We're very thorough in our investigations.
So you mean Mr. Shamspeare is...
I wouldn't come out and say it in public. But you can finish that sentence with a grubby little gas thief.
You have noticed the public gallery in here, have you?
The eye of man hath not heard, the ear of man hath not seen. Faith, wouldst thou wound me with thy words, were I do let them penetrate the skin? But seraphs err, not insults, only choirs of angels in song. We may not have evidence yet, but my workers won't stop buzzing around you until they find it. And when they do, you'll find yourself blasted back to your angelic heights in an Altamont gas explosion.
So Mr. Shamspeare's been stealing gas. I wonder, juror number 4, if you wouldn't mind adding that new information to your statement?
My pleasure. Was it the bit about ripping the thief apart that you enjoyed?
A little bit before the part about abject violence, if it's not too much trouble.
Yes, of course.
This could be it. This could shift the balance.
Hold it!
That's a bold claim. How can you be so sure?
It's really very simple.
Noble lady of gas, I pray thee, hold thy tongue.
I beg your pardon.
Hath that red-coated air that doth our Daucus elude any place in this assembly? Nay, 'tis of sole import here that someone would distinguish the light of mine own life. Verily, I ne'er recall stealing thy gas, but pray let the matter rest till anon.
Why, you little...
Beg your pardon, my lady, but might I suggest you don't say any more at this stage? We hive is fast. If I keep secretly watering this bug, I'll get him in the end. He'll slip up.
Do you think maybe that secret's out of the bag? Oh, this is so frustrating.
Objection.
These two statements clearly contradict each other. Good gracious! To whose statements do you refer, counsel? Juror number 1?
What are you yelling about, lad? What are you yelling about, lad?
I presume you've heard juror number 4's statement, made by the wife of the owner of Altamount Gas.
Well, yes.
The victim, who you claim to be a noble, straight-up man, in fact turns out to be a common thief.
So the good lady says. But there's no evidence, is there? You and I both heard them say as much.
It's true. We don't have any evidence. We don't have evidence as such, just yet. But the claims aren't baseless, you know.
What?
You heard me. Seeing as his operation has already been compromised, I would suggest that the court hears testimony from my East End branch office employee over there.
I'll do whatever you say, my lady. Gasman's honor.
Juror number 1, you say you're a man of your word. If I could show that Mr. Shamspeare was a liar, you assured me that you would reconsider your decision about the defendant's guilt.
Yes, I did say that. And as a man of honor, I'll hold to it, as I'm sure the other gentlemen of the jury will.
Me? Oh, wait, yes. Now that we've found out the man's a liar, perhaps we ought to consider the matter further.
Well, if I'm perfectly honest, I haven't heard half of what you've all been saying. So if this means you'll recap a few points, that would suit me down to the ground. Oh no, I'm not having any part of this. I want this trial over and done with.
In that case, I shall change my leaning.
So, Mr. William Shamspeare, if that is your real name, we of the jury demand to know exactly what kind of a man you really are.
That's 4 jurors. 4 for not guilty. Yes, Miss Nahato. Victory!
Order, order! Well, this is quite extraordinary, I must say. As a result of the defense's summation examination, the jury's leaning has changed. Now only 2 jurors say guilty, whilst 4 say not guilty. I therefore declare this court to be in a state of discord, and order the trial to continue. You have spoilt the bouquet, Mr. Shamspeare. The ladies and gentlemen of the jury now find they are unable to trust you, the victim. But you gods will give us some faults to make us men, so God mend me, I do swear. This gasman speaketh that which concerns him most, naught but gas, naught but thin air. Aye, it burneth bright a while, but it hath no substance, and it doth reek foul. Oi, what do you say? Do I take it, Mr. Shamspeare, that you deny the allegations of gas thievery? Most heartily, my lord. Hast thou forgot? I am as a seraph, an angel, noble of mind, sweet of nature, and verily honest of heart. Oh, you foul-mouthed pompous beanpole, just because I haven't got the evidence yet. Mr. Shamspeare, if in fact you are not noble of mind, sweet of nature, or honest of heart,
If you are a liar, then your testimony should have no sway in this courtroom. It is my considered opinion that at the present time, no other possible culprit of this crime has been identified. All testimony heard by the court thus far heavily implicates the defendant. In short, it would not be unreasonable at this stage for me to rule on the case. Oh no, oh no. However, in light of the fact that the jury has expressed concern about the fidelity of this witness, I believe it would be inappropriate for this court not to pursue the point further.
Objection!
I assure you, my lord, that it would be a waste of the court's time. The gas in this case are unrelated. Juror number 4.
Yes. Didn't you say before that although you had no hard evidence to prove this man had been stealing gas, you have strong grounds for suspecting him? That's right, we do. Don't we, worker?
Absolutely, Lady Quimby. Gasman's order.
Very well, then. We will hear your testimony now. You will tell the court precisely why you believe the victim, Mr. William Shakespeare, has been stealing gas.
Yes, my lord, it'll be my pleasure.
On the ultimate gas name, I swear. If I may, my lord.
Go ahead, madam.
This worker's testimony may have a significant bearing on the good name of my husband's company. Therefore, I should like to take the stand alongside him in a supervisory role, if you wouldn't mind.
Whoa, yeah, sweet. Oh yeah, sweet as honey. Yeah.
Very well, as an exception, I shall honor your request. Thank you, my lord.
You wait till the boss gives you an earful. Oh, it's gonna sting you, mark my words.
So you will both testify before the court on the subject of the illegal consumption of the Altamont Gas Company's fuel. Yes. Is that clear, my good man?
Clear as Altamont gas, my lady. Which is the clearest in the world.
Do you think the gas has gone to his head, Mr. Sato? I think the man is just a very dedicated employee, Mr. Naruto.
I'm proud to be the company's East End branch investigator and meter money collection agent. Altamont gas meters accept through-busy bids, each coin giving customers about 2 hours of gorgeous gas.
And yet, the meter in Mr. Shakespeare's room didn't have a single coin in it. The meter doesn't appear to have been tampered with, though, and the collection agent has the only key.
Somehow, he's using all the flaming gas he wants without paying a penny. That's not thieving, what is? Pray forgive the discourtesy. The irrelevance of this testimony has caused me to turn to my hallowed chalice.
What do you mean by that remark, Lord Van Zeeks?
Did the mustachioed Nipponese poison the gangling excuse for an actor, or didn't he? That is all that should concern this court, and yet now we must listen to this abhorrence. Clearly, what separates the vast British Empire and your eastern island nation is more than geographical distance.
But this could turn out to be crucial testimony. The cross-examination must go ahead.
Do what you will.
Lord Van Zeeks appears to be in a violent mood.
Yes, he does.
An attempted poisoning, and an incidence of gas theft with no supporting evidence. It's true that they would appear completely unrelated at first glance, but I wonder, the truth tends to be buried in the most unusual places, and the first step in uncovering it will be to establish just who and what this man really is. So does that mean you enter people's houses in order to empty their gas meters?
I do. I would try and catch people when they're in, Then I asked permission to come inside and do my business.
Does that mean you've been into Mr. Natsume's room before, as well as that of Mr. Shamsphere?
Well now, interesting you should bring that up, because I couldn't believe how little money was in his meter. I mean, how the pair of them survive the winter is beyond me, it really is.
Knowing Mr. Natsume, he probably spends all his gas money on books.
And then when he's finished reading them, he probably burns them for warmth.
You will kindly reiterate your statement about the gas meters themselves, Mr. Benjamin.
Not much to say really, but as you wish. I have more gas meters except threepence bits each yeah.
So all London houses that have a gas supply are fitted with these gas meters, are they? They're the latest model, the height of technology, developed by our company, Altamont Gas. And anyone who uses our gas will have one of these meters in their property, yes. So if a threepence coin gives 2 hours of gas, most people would use about 3 coins a night.
A bit more than that usually, if they have both gas lights and a gas stove, that is.
Thinking about it, Saseki-san doesn't have a fireplace in that room of his, does he? Some people still choose to use candles, of course, and only have gas for heating. Oh, yes. I do remember seeing some candles in Mr. Natsume's room, actually. And how does the money in the meter get back to you at the gas company?
Every 3 days, gasmen like me visit properties on the gas supply and empty the meters of coins.
I must say, the design and manufacture of the new meter cost the company an awful lot of money. But happily, it did put a stop to people not paying their dues, for the most part.
Ah, because they have to pay in advance, you mean?
Yes, exactly right. And yet
Out of interest, how long has this been going on? Weeks and weeks. He's been pinching gas off us for ages. And you have examined the meter in Mr. Shakespeare's room, I take it?
Naturally. We took it off the wall and went over it with a fine-tooth comb.
And found nothing suspicious at all, I presume?
No, I'm afraid we didn't. Which is exactly why I demanded a new type of meter to be produced. One with an indestructible lock. The Shamsphere Special.
That sounds like it would have cost an awful lot of 3-penny pieces.
But even after all that, the rascal's meter was still empty.
I'll never forget the humiliation when I opened up the money box and found it bare. You what? I said, you what? And the look on his face, that smarmy smile of his. I pulled the meter straight off the wall and took it back to your office. But you know what? Not a trace of it being jimmied open anyway, not a single sign. And what's happening to my salary as a result? Down by 3 shillings a day, that's what.
A life-threatening situation in a number of ways. A life-threatening situation in a number of ways. Incidentally, what became of that meter?
Nothing became of it. I still got it.
Oh.
Right, yeah. No wonder they call you Meterman. Or Meterman or whatever. Anyways, I think it would be prudent for the court to sequester this item while the trial is ongoing.
Definitely. Although at first glance, there doesn't appear to be anything unusual about it.
Let's move this along, shall we? Continue with your testimony. Though I would say it has as much value as the contents of that meter. Proof.
There's only one key for all your meters? Well, in truth, there's another key in the company vault at our main office. But even if someone had somehow managed to get hold of a key, we'd know if the coin box had been opened.
Oh? How?
I came up with a rather clever way to expose any little shenanigans as it happens.
Would you care to explain? Well, in order to empty a meter, you have to unlock the padlock and remove the cover. But when I close the cover again, I stick a little beeswax seal on it, you say?
A seal? Like the sort of thing you put on an envelope, you mean?
Something like that, yes. Basically, you can't remove the cover again without breaking the seal.
But now, in the case of Mr. Shamspeare's meter, there were no coins inside at all, I said.
But the seal hadn't been broken either.
So that would mean Mr. Shamspeare somehow managed to steal coins from inside the meter without opening it? It would seem so, but that would be impossible.
Hold it!
How do you know that he's been using gas, though?
I know. Since I sort of investigated this spoke, I've been in his room more than a few times. And on every single occasion, his lamps have been blazing in a stove fountain. It's the middle of winter, and he still turns to me, sweat dripping down his cheeks, and says, "Get thee to another air!" I'm right indeed. I could wring the bloke's neck. I got all hot under the cold, but still, every time I open up that flaming meter, it's empty. He's robbing me of my salary too. What's wrong with the world? Where's the justice?
But how can Mr. Shamspeare possibly be stealing the money? I don't understand.
The simple explanation is right before your eyes. What?
I toast to eventually realizing that the gasman could be an accomplice.
You what? Good lord! Eminently plausible indeed.
Well, what do you have to say for yourself?
Oh, please, you couldn't be. I'm a faithful worker. And besides, if the money as gasman collect doesn't tally with how much gas is being used, you dock our pay for the same amount.
So you'd be stealing money only to have the same amount taken from your wages. Clearly that makes no sense. Perhaps it's a case of losing the battle to win the war?
No. I'm not going to stop that hornet's nest. If I was stealing from the company, I'd be finished.
It would seem
there is no evidence to support the claims of thievery made against the victim, because Mr. William Shamspeare
is innocent.
Pray forgive me if that shatters some illusion my little Nipponese friend was clearly under.
Certainly didn't expect to uncover another crime that looks like it's been taking place in the very same room. According to the testimony, it's only the meter in Mr. Shamspeare's room that's under suspicion. It does seem as though perhaps it has nothing to do with the incident involving Mr. Natsume. I know, it does seem that way, but the fact is, since I've been practicing law in England, I feel like I've encountered this at least once already. Cases that are interlinked. Oh. It might seem that two cases have nothing to do with one another at first, but in fact they're intimately connected. Yes, we have experienced that before, haven't we? I wonder if this is another instance. Perhaps, but we can't be sure of that yet. If the Altamont Gas Company has been investigating Mr. Shamspeare so earnestly, there must be something to it. But then how has he been managing to steal their gas?
Okay.
It's a very sturdy looking padlock, isn't it? And the money box is sealed with beeswax too. So if Mr. Sholmes were to get up to any mischief, he'd be found out immediately. Mr. Haruno, mischief of that kind is not the sort of thing that Mr. Sholmes would... You know you didn't finish that sentence, don't you? Well, anyway, it's understandable that the gas company would want to safeguard the money that's rightfully theirs. But it does feel a little over the top, perhaps, doesn't it? Oh, what's... Have you spotted something, Mr. Naruto? Just here. There's a very little hole, do you see? Goodness, you're right. I wouldn't have noticed. It's not a very neat hole, is it? Not professionally made, I'd say. So, you think it might have been opened up by Mr. Shamspeare? Possibly. It seems the people at Altamont Gas must have missed it. Well, it certainly seems to go all the way to the inside. Yes, but there's no way a coin could fit through there. That's true, but even so, it seems more than a little suspicious.
Oh, whoops. No, no, no. Wrong button. Sorry. Here we go. Didn't appear to have been tampered with.
Objection.
Lady Altamont, I'm afraid to say that this meter clearly does show signs of having been tampered with.
What?
Get away! I've been airing over that thing. I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with it.
In that case, what do you have to say about the small hole that's been made at the base of the coin box?
Oh, what?
You're right. You're quite right. There is a little hole there. The meters aren't supposed to have that. None of the others do.
In other words, we can assume that Mr. Shanster secretly opened up this hole himself.
Yes, I wouldn't be at all surprised. But why?
Yeah, why? I mean, it's tiny. You couldn't get a fawn through there. Lady Altamont, I wonder if you could give the court some more details about your meter design.
What sort of details?
Well, what I'd specifically like to know is... let's start with how it's dismantled. How can the meter be dismantled?
Dismantled?
Yes, given that there are no signs of it having been forced. I'm wondering if perhaps rather than being broken open, it might have been taken apart.
Well, yes, that does make some sense. The padlocks are made by a first-class locksmith from the finest quality steel. And the meter box itself is made from plate steel as well, welded shut to ensure it can't be opened again. I can assure you it's quite impossible to dismantle it.
What? Oh, yeah, nothing leaks from an automatic meter, no coins, no gas, nothing. I see. The witness will amend her formal testimony with that information in case it is pertinent.
As you wish, my lord.
Hold it!
Has anyone ever tried? Oh yeah, you've tried, but they've all given up before long.
After all, if they actually broke the meter, the company would be able to take legal action.
Yes, that makes sense.
What do you think, Mr. Otto? Is its welded steel construction significant? Or perhaps there's some other aspect of the meter's construction that we should be focusing on?
Yes, you may be right. Perhaps I should try a different tack here. Like asking about how the meter differentiates coins, for example. How does the meter tell the difference between different coins?
What do you mean?
Well, for example, if someone were to put in a 1-penny coin, that wouldn't work, presumably, would it?
No, of course not.
So, well, how does the meter know that the coin it's been fed is a threepenny bit?
Ah, I see what you're getting at now. The meter tells coins apart by their shape and size, which includes their thickness. A threepenny bit is about 3/4 of an inch in diameter, you see. Other coins just won't fit.
Ah, I see. It's clearly been very well thought out. The witness will amend her formal testimony with that information in case it is pertinent.
As you wish, my lord. The meter is designed for coins the exact diameter and thickness of a threepenny.
So it's, sorry, not threepenny. I've been saying threepenny.
It's threepenny bit. Nothing else will fit.
Hold it!
But conversely then, it would seem that anything matching a 3-pence coin exactly in terms of diameter and thickness could equally well be used. Would, that be true?
Well, yes, in a way. The weight comes into it to a certain extent as well.
We thought of that though anyway. If I find a fake coin inside the coin box when I empty the meter, the contract says the customer has to pay 100 times the amount they deal as a fine. We live for moments like that as gasmen do. Live for them. It would seem the gas company has thought of everything. Whoa! Hooray for gas! Hurrah for cash! Ultimate all the way!
That's quite enough of that.
Remind me, how big are threepenny bits?
About 3/4 of an inch across. What do you think, Miss Nardo? Is 2 centimeters measurement significant? Or perhaps there's some other aspect of the meter's construction that we should be focusing on?
Yes, you may be right. Perhaps I should try a different tack here. Like asking about whether the meter can be dismantled, for example. And leave it.
Let us return to the testimony. Of course, my lord. As I was saying, Altamont meters are unsurpassed. They can't be manipulated.
Whoops, 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 whoops. Because I had a thought on what potentially...
Objection!
My lord, there are clearly guns about it. Darn it.
Hold it!
See, I thought we might be able to, you know, to use the thing that was on the soap that's missing now. But of course, it's missing now, so...
Hold it!
Ah! Wait, no! Wrong button, damn it.
doors are welded shut.
Objection!
No? Okay. Apparently not. Yeah, thank you, Council, that will do. I've seen enough. According to the powers vested in me by Her Majesty the Queen, I declare no further examination necessary. I believe the court has been presented with more than enough evidence to pass judgment. As such, I shall be requesting the final decisions of the members of the jury. Are you all ready, Mr. Fillman? We're all ready, my lord. Very good. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury. To findings to the court in Dad, please.
Guilty!
Guilty! Guilty! Guilty!
Guilty. Guilty.
Mrs. Suzuki Natsumi, in accordance with the findings of this court, I pronounce you guilty. Guilty. I applaud the judges for doing the civic duty and finding a swift resolution to this matter. So, court is adjourned. Retry from this scene.
talk to the Yeah, it's been a guess for a time. After a coin is inserted, the attached coin box supports a very strong lock. There's a tiny hole in its base. I don't think I can prove it can be dismantled. Nothing else will fit. I feel like that's what we have. That can, you know, that nothing else will fit. We just need to find something that would fit. The question is what? A piece of an envelope. I don't think I can prove that you could dismantle it. Because this is the only other thing I have that has anything to do with it, and it's, you know...
Objection!
No.
Objection! Hold it!
I guess it doesn't really matter if he can put... Yeah, I guess no, that was the wrong thing to press. We have to think about how it can be dismantled, because if it can't be dismantled, then it doesn't matter if he put in a fake coin, because they would have found it.
Objection!
Ugh.
Hold it!
Every 3 days, yes. You know what? I think I'm just gonna look this one up. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Wait, what? I'm confused. Very confused. I'm very confused. Because actually we are supposed to use the soap. I was right. But it didn't work last time. And I thought I had looked at it, you know. Oh. I could have sworn we looked at this already. Oh, look at this bar of soap. There's a circular depression on this side, about 2 centimeters across. Oh, 3/4 of an inch. Ah, do you think? We did find this soap at the scene, didn't we? Yes. Yes, there were 2 bars on that little ledge outside the window, so we took this one. But I'm sure that when we first found it, there was some sort of reddish medallion in the middle there. I remember it clearly. Yes, but there's no sign of it now. Where could it have gone? See, I could have sworn that we already did that.
Objection.
That's frustrating. I could have sworn we already did that. But here we are, I guess. So let me just confirm something here. If the diameter and thickness were to be correct, the meter would accept any object as if it were a threepenny bill. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Well, by something of a coincidence, while we were investigating in Mr. Shamspeare's room, we found a particular item that matches the dimensions perfectly.
Something the same size as a threepenny bit? What is it?
The item in question is this. What? How you been handling gas? That's a bar of soap.
It certainly looks nothing like a threepenny bit, I must say.
Looks like I'm going to have to point out exactly what I mean here. What's so important about the soap is this part here.
Got it.
You have to turn over the soap to see what I mean.
Huh? Are you referring to that round depression in the middle of the soap there?
That's right. A depression that's approximately 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Or in other words, almost exactly the same size as a threepenny bit. Get away! Does anyone here present have in their position a threepenny bit? Quickly now, hand over your coins, ladies and gentlemen.
It sounds rather like a highway robbery, doesn't it?
Thanks to a kind member of the public in the gallery, I have here a threepenny bit. Now to see if it fits. My word! It couldn't be more snug. Yes, as I suspected, this, without a doubt, is a vital clue to explain how the Altamont Gas Company is being defrauded.
Well, I don't believe it.
So, your assertion amounts to what? That some inferior bar of soap has a tentative connection to the theft of gas? Yes! The depression in the soap was clearly made by a threepenny bit. I must concur, at least, that pushing a coin with some force into a poor quality bar of soap such as this is a remarkably simple way of replicating the coin's shape. I think you could wear some melted wax or something to pour into the mold. You can make fake coins in no time. You can make fake coins in no time. Huh. This brings all the pieces of the puzzle together. It's the method Mr. Chancery has been using to steal the gas. That's the missing link. And now, if I follow the chain of thought, it's going to bring me to a new explanation for what happened that nobody's considered yet.
But this is all nonsense. If the man had been making fake coins, my worker here would have found them when he emptied the meter.
Quite true, Lady Ultimate. In the absence of some black magic that could make them disappear. I see. That's what we're dealing with, is it? There is one form of black magic that could cause the fake coins to disappear into thin air, yes. Exactly. And the meter here gives it away.
What on earth?
There are remnants of the magical method used visible on the gas meter taken from the victim's room. Sorry, stuttered a little bit there. If that is your assertion, Counsel, the defense will identify these remnants for the court at once. Well, on the meter, can the remnants of the method used to make the fake coins, where on the meter can the remnants of the method used to make the fake coins disappear be seen? There's this little hole in the bottom of the meter here, isn't there? And it looks as though it was made by someone who didn't really have the right tools. It does actually go all the way through to the inside, though it's hard to see that unless you look closely. In fact, it goes right to the part of the meter where the money ends up. I suppose it's nothing then. Oh? Well, you couldn't possibly extract a coin through such a small hole, could you? No, I suppose not. But then the question remains, why would somebody go to the effort of making a hole here? Well, my thought is you could probably, say, put a candle in there or something. We found this bar of soap at the scene of the crime just outside the victim's window. Outside? Yes, outside, where you yourself, Mr. Meterman, were loitering in the freezing winter air. That's where we found this soap. Ah, I get it. That's right. The answer, of course, is ice. Did you just say ice? Mr. Shamspeare has been leaving soaps like this outside his window each evening filled with water. After a night outside in the bitter cold, the water is completely frozen solid the next morning. Then he takes his fake coins of ice and feeds them into the gas meter, giving him light and warmth in spades. As this room becomes very comfortably warm, the ice now inside the meter's coin box melts, turning back into water and draining harmlessly away through the small hole made in the underside of the meter. That is how, without leaving any evidence of his wrongdoing, this man has been stealing Altamont gas.
Just like that. So simply. Is he trying to make us look like idiots? He's been fooling us all with some bars of soap and some water.
That's right, madam.
I don't believe it. It can't be true. Do you have any idea how much money we spent to develop that new meter? And now you have the audacity to suggest that a bit of soap and some water can render it totally useless.
I'm fairly sure I didn't design it.
Evidence.
Sorry?
I want evidence. If you're going to stand there and tell me our meters are rubbish, I want to see proof. She's very good at enforcing accountability, isn't she?
Very well, Lady Altamont. If you'd like evidence, I'll prove it.
What? Mr. Naruto, are you saying you do actually have evidence to support this theory?
I did notice a trace of something that bothered me a little at the time. And I have a feeling that this theory we've come up with now could explain it. A piece of evidence that substantiates the theory about how Mr. Chancellor has been filling his gas. This is a photograph of the scene at the point when the victim was discovered, taken by Inspector Gregson, and it clearly shows the remnants of the crime carried out by Mr. Shamspeare. What remnants? Here, you can see the gas meter on the wall in Mr. Shamspeare's room. Now look closely at the floorboards directly underneath the meter.
What is that? Some kind of grubby stain?
Almost certainly, it's a water stain resulting from the liquid that drained out of the hole made in the meter.
Ah!
If one coin gives around 2 hours of gas usage, and the occupant was heating his room in all his waking hours, we can imagine he would have used around 10 of his fake coins each day. The melting ice inside the meter's coin box would have been dripping out almost constantly, leaving a stain on the floor.
This is awful. And there's further evidence, too. Mr. Shamspear is slumped over his table, apparently having consumed strychnine. Strychnine, whatever. And right there next to him is a bar of soap, broken in half. You're right. It would appear to me then, Counsel, that the man was eating the soap, was he? Pardon me for disagreeing with your lordship, but certainly not. He didn't beat about the bush there, did he? In truth, Mr. Shamspear was found with a fork in his hand. A meal of soap is sounding increasingly likely. Do you mean to say he was using that fork to... Yes. To extract a frozen coin from the bar of soap. but the bar broke in half. So perhaps it didn't go very well.
Good gracious.
Lord Van Zieks. I was throwing my hand up in despair, and happened to catch my hallowed bottle on the way. Pray forgive my maladroit mistake.
What is the meaning of this, Counsel?
Allow me to pose my learned friend a question. What exactly did you establish with your most recent cross-examination? Well... And Mr. William Shamspear is a liar and a thief. In other words, that his testimony is unreliable.
That's it. That's exactly it.
Very well, let us assume the man is a liar. Now, allow me to pose another question. What possible difference does that make? Well... Hello, Millie Edits! Millie Edits, is that how you say it? Thanks for the follow! It's great to have you here. Is it Millie Edits? Is that it? Can I call you Millie, or do you want the full Millie Edits, or Millie Edits rather, or Oh, also, what are your pronouns? Want to make sure I'm not misgendering you or anything. We are together on the web server. Which one? Which server? Sorry, I'm in a bunch. The one who speaks Spanish? I don't think I'm in any Spanish-speaking servers, because I don't speak Spanish. So I wouldn't be in a Spanish-speaking server. Because I wouldn't understand anything that's going on. Hold on. Yeah, so which Discord server is it? Sorry, I'm just curious. Oh, Web Pickers Guild. Got it. Okay, cool. Great to see ya. Well, it's great to see you here. And thank you for coming. Sorry, I was... Yeah, anyways, thank you for being here. It's really appreciate it. Okay, so, where were we? We know that suicide can be discounted.
Scotland Yard's investigation revealed no sign of another vessel that contained poison. Oh, so today, by the way, on Thursdays, we're playing through the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We're specifically on the second one. And I voice every single character in the game. Yeah. Sorry, I just... What are you trying to say with all these images? Anyways, I voice every single character in this game. It's exhausting, but it's fun. And on the night in question, there were no visitors to the room except the accused. The young gasman's testimony, which we have no reason to doubt, has confirmed that. I am crazy. Alright, fair enough, I guess. Furthermore, the only possible way the poison could have entered the victim's body is via the tea. The court has seen no evidence whatsoever that suggests otherwise. Even if William Shakespeare is the liar you claim him to be, these facts have been objectively established. There's no escaping it. Ah! Therefore, in light of these facts, the prosecution calls for immediate adjudication. You... What?! Order, order! Well, counsel, how does the defense respond?
Mr. Otto! What was the point of that last cross-examination? Did it actually get us anywhere? Or did it make no difference at all, like Lord Van Zieks is saying?
Raise an objection.
No, this isn't over. The defense will not rest.
What?
But counsel, you successfully explained everything. You've identified and substantiated the unscrupulous method employed by Mr. Shakespeare to consume gas. What more is there to discuss?
Lord Van Zieks just highlighted 3 facts in order to make his point. Contrary to what he would have the court believe, not all of them have been objectively established at all.
What are you trying to say, my Nipponese friend?
At least one of those so-called facts is an assumption made due to a lack of evidence. But the situation has changed now following the cross-examination of the latest witnesses to take the stand.
Don't be absurd. What is this nonsense?
Yes, when you bring everything we've learned so far together and consider it as a whole, it's clear. Rather, not very, it's clear. There's a question that we now need to reconsider, namely... was the poison in the tea, is what I'm thinking. We've all been led to believe that the strychnine poison that afflicted Mr. Shakespeare was in the tea brought to him by Mr. Natsume, but that's conjecture at best.
The victim has testified that nothing else passed his lips that night. There is no other possibility. And since there was no trace of the tea left at the scene, it couldn't be tested for traces of the poison.
As I said, the situation has changed, because in fact, some of Mr. Natsume's tea was left at the scene, and a particular piece of evidence proves it.
A ludicrous claim. Scotland Yard detectives investigated the scene exhaustively. What evidence are you suggesting they missed?
The defense has made a bold claim, indeed. Very well, counsel. Present your proof. What evidence from the scene of the crime can tell us about the nature of the defendant's tea?
Take that!
What exactly is this piece of evidence supposed to reveal about Mr. Natsume's tea, counsel?
Well, I suspect it may possibly be related to the tea in some small... What are you talking...
Even at the bottom of the deepest chasm, you will find no sense in that absurd assertion.
Wait, what? Are you serious? Sometimes I wish I could disappear down a deep chasm to escape this deep chasm. Sorry.
Then I advise you to think more deeply before you answer it.
Really? The teacups aren't the one that... Okay, well... Hold on, let's save. Huh. If it's not the teacups, what is it? Is it the soap? It's highly mixed with the tea.
Take that!
Good gracious! The soap again? The same bar the victim used to fashion his coins of ice? Yes, that's right, my lord. It's just come back to me. Something about when we first found this bar of soap at the scene yesterday. It's more bars of soap. Soap? What are bars of soap doing lined up on the ledge outside the window? I'm quite certain that when we originally stumbled upon the bars of soap, there was actually a frozen coin in each bar. So you discovered the gas thief's coin factory. Fascinating. In a way, yes, but there's more. The coins we found in the soap at the time weren't normal ice.
That was something strange about them, you mean?
Exactly. Something very obviously strange. They were red. The ice was red.
No. You mean...
That's right. It's obvious to me now. The fake coins in the soap were made from frozen tea.
What?
I would remind the court of a statement made by Mr. Natsume earlier in this trial.
That evening, yes. I did take some freshly brewed tea. No, let's see. That evening, yes. I did take some freshly brewed tea.
No, that's not the voice I gave him. Hold on. Let's see.
That evening, yes. I did take some freshly brewed tea with me when I visited Mr. Shakespeare's room as a gift. The public water outside always freezes at night, so I brought bottled water especially to make it. And this is the result. Never will I touch tea again. Never. And this is the result.
Yeah, okay.
Oh yes, I believe there had been a snowfall that day. It was particularly cold. Sadly, on such occasions, the poorly constructed water mains in the East End are prone to freezing.
So on the night in question, Mr. Shamsphere, having no running water to use, was forced to use the tea brought by Mr. Natsume in order to make his fake coins.
My word!
There were 2 bars of soap on the window ledge when my judicial assistant and I investigated the scene. That's right, and we only borrowed one of them. Which means that even as we speak, Some of the defendant's tea is still present at the scene of the crime, frozen solid in a bar of soap outside Mr. Shakespeare's window.
Extraordinary!
Earlier today, Inspector Gregson informed the court that even if one drop of the tea remained, Scotland Yard would be able to analyze it for poison. As such, we are now in a position to prove or disprove what has until now been mere conjecture, by finding out for sure whether or not Mr. Natsume's tea actually contains strychnine at all.
Ah, you smug Nipponese.
My lord, we cannot do the defendant the injustice of passing judgment now. The police should be dispatched to recover the remaining bar of soap from the scene at once, and the defense requests a thorough analysis of the frozen tea embedded in it to determine whether or not it contains any poison.
Bailiff, instruct the police to attend the scene at once.
Yes, my lord, understand.
It would seem we have no choice but to suspend these proceedings for the time being. If I trust you have no objection, Lord Van Zeeks?
None, my lord. Excuse me.
Scotland Yard will recover the tea from the scene and carry out the requisite tests immediately. Trial will resume at the same hour tomorrow. Prosecution and defense may conduct further investigations as appropriate in the interim.
Yes, my lord. Well, we managed to scrape through there somehow.
Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned until tomorrow.
Okay, we're gonna wrap up there. Since there would be only 10 more minutes of the stream anyway. Sorry you came here on the tail end, Millie. But I hope that you'll be around next time. The schedule is Tuesdays 7 to 9 Eastern Time, Thursdays 5 to 7 Eastern Time, and Saturdays 3 to 5 Eastern Time. So I hope to see you on some of those. Have an absolutely lovely evening, or morning, or whatever it is at your time. And I hope to see you all soon.